What happened was...
Hey friends, it's so nice to see you. It's today, the time is now. You are here and the weather is outside your window.
Today's guest is one of my favorite singers on the planet, and she holds the world record for highest note sung at Lincoln Center. Please welcome Holly Flack.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
It's great to see you too.
I haven't seen you in person in so long.
I know, it's been too long. Not since Hamlet, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's a really long time, but I see you on the internet, so I feel like it's cool.
Oh, thank you. I see you too, doing wonderful things everywhere.
Well, thanks for coming on. This is so exciting.
I'm so flattered to be here. I'm so excited you asked me.
Is this your Dallas Opera debut?
It is. This is my
There's-
debut at Dallas Opera.
Fabulous. And you're tuning in from the West Coast, where you're home for Thanksgiving.
Yes, I'm home in Portland, Oregon, where I was born and raised, doing Thanksgiving with the family. Everybody comes over to my parents' house, and
Oh, that's so
I'm
nice.
the youngest of 5 children, and only 4 of them live in Portland. But so we
Wow.
all come over at the big turkey.
Oh, that's so sweet. Are there any other musicians in your family?
There are music lovers. My middle brothers took violin and guitar. My older sister sang in musicals in high school. But so we're music appreciators, but I'm the only one who kind of dived into the profession.
And so I must ask, when did you first know you had these interstellar high notes?
You know, actually, I was kind of a late bloomer on it. It was not until I was a junior in college and I studied abroad for a semester in Milan, Italy. And my teacher there, Patrizia Zanardi, gave me Un peu légère from Denora, which, you know, I have a lifetime love affair with. And I listened to Natalie Dessay sing it. And in that particular recording, she did an A flat on the end.
Oh,
And I remember being in the music library, you know, with my headphones on thinking, what on earth was that? And so I just went into a practice room and played the note on the piano and out it came. So I took it to my lesson back at St. Olaf when I was back from Italy. And my voice teacher kind of said, well, we've never warmed you. Let's warm you up there. I was kind of doing soubrette things and just
Yeah.
normal soprano songs. And so, and it used to be just the A flat. I could sing E, F, no G, A flat, because that's right where I turn.
wow.
And then it just, you know, the more I did it, the stronger it got. And now I'm up to a B and I can sing the G now. So
It just developed.
yes. So I think it was always kind of lying in wait. I had just, thank goodness for Natalie Dessay, or I never even would have tried it.
And what an incredible artist, someone I've always admired. And
Oh,
yeah.
yes. She's
Yeah.
one of my idols.
So did you go from soubrette straight to coloratura then? Did that just...
It was kind of a soubrette coloratura, but I was singing, you know, Despina and the Fire aria and kind of just milling around trying to figure out where I
Sure.
was.
Sure. Well, I
Yeah.
think let's play an example of one of your high notes just to show how extraordinary they are. That was one of my very favorite moments. That was, of course, Hamlet at Opera Ithaca, which I had the extreme honor, privilege, and joy of directing you in. And when I say directing, I mean we just had fun and played and collaborated. It wasn't, you know, it was just a very special experience. But I remember that rehearsal where you said, I kind of have this high note I thought about in this moment, but it might be inappropriate. And then
It's always a question of taste. You kind of want to feel it out. But that was, you were my
Wow.
very first B in public.
Wow.
So,
Oh, it was, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. And it's something I watch often and I keep the video on my phone. 'Cause it was just so so cool and extraordinary and really like what that moment needs dramatically for what she's going through. And
That is definitely true.
yeah, and it's one of those cool things that opera can heighten the emotional landscape and the environment, and it brings the audience into what's in the character's head. Just
It certainly does. Well, and to your credit as a director, that it was wonderful that you let us all kind of play, because we got to develop the character, and you always bring a little bit of yourself into it, but then we just got to, expand more and more into madness and depression and what am I even singing? And I just let out a bee, and it was like this, that's right where she, the madness takes over, and that was perfect. I loved working with you.
Well, thanks. I mean, it was so fun because I got to handpick who I wanted to work with in that production, and it was my favorite experience directing ever. And you all were so extraordinary because I put you through the ringer there, and then I asked everyone to rehearse in costume, and we had like 4 days of rehearsal, but it was, everyone embraced this wild process, and the show was just spectacular. I was so overjoyed. And I don't usually, when I've directed before, it's uncomfortable for me to sit and watch, but there was something about that show and that cast where I just couldn't get enough. I just was like, watching every performance, and to see how the audience responded as well. It was just really joyous. So this is your brand, though. You're this incredible singer with this huge voice, and then you have these ridiculous high notes, and you set records around the world. You hold the record for the highest note sung at Lincoln Center, correct?
Yes, Audrey Luna sang an A at the Met, so she has the highest note at the Met, but I do believe I have the highest note at Lincoln Center.
Lincoln Center, yeah.
I'm slowly moving closer. 2 years ago, I sang at David Geffen, which was a wonderful experience. This year, I just sang at David Koch, so hopefully I'm moving closer to the Met every year.
Yeah, you're jumping around. You're extraordinary, and I'm one of your biggest fans. So I just love watching everything you're doing. So we want to hear another one of your wild notes. Let's play something else and set it up for us.
Okay. Well, this is a performance that I did in China with the I Sing program, which is a wonderful international festival run by Hao Zhangqian, who is the most famous Chinese bass to sing at the Met.
Wow.
And his wife, Martha Liao, who runs the Asian Performing Arts Association. And they're just ambassadors for cultural exchange and East meets West. And so this is a particular song that they wrote with me in mind, and I felt very honored to do that. They had arranged a song the year before with an A flat in it, and I got to perform that on Chinese television, which was amazing.
Wow.
And this one I also was able to perform on Chinese television, but they wrote a high B6 at the end, and I thought, well, let's see if it comes out every time I can do it. Sure enough.
Yeah. All right. Well,
so anyway, the song is based on 2 poems from the Tang Dynasty, Singing of Goose and Song of Snow. And it's both poets were rather young, but they grew into famous poets of the time. Cool. And one of them is just, observing the geese as they paddle down to the water. And the other one is known for inventing a style of poetry almost like the limerick, because he describes the snow without ever saying the word snow.
Oh, I love that.
So.
All right, let's give it a watch. That's just incredible. You're amazing. A star.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, you're very nice.
Well, you're a very special artist, and I'm so happy our paths crossed. many years ago and continue to cross. And I'm so excited you said yes to be on my Christmas album. And I'm so happy we get to sing together. And
I am too. I've been noodling around and making up some things. I'm probably going to send you a whole bunch of files.
Fabulous.
Pick whatever ones you want. So.
Can't wait. It's actually, by the time this episode airs, the album will have just been announced. So that's really exciting.
Wonderful.
Coming out so soon. I love Christmas music. It's just my favorite. And
I do too. I try to stave off a little but at least from Thanksgiving on, it's full-time Christmas.
well, now I just did a production of Young Frankenstein all October. So my October was Halloween every single day. So I decided halfway through the run that on November 1st, Christmas was starting for me because I did a month-long Halloween. So I'm doing a 2-month Christmas. And so far it's just wonderful. And
that's perfect. It seems to be the theme this year. I see more Christmas lights coming up early. I think people are just excited to kind of latch onto something familiar.
Yeah, something familiar, something that brings joy and peace and comfort. And yeah, for me to see my Christmas tree every day, it just makes me smile all day long. And it's like my warm golden friend in the corner. Company puts me to sleep.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a Christmas name after all. My birthday is very soon after Christmas. So I'm the Christmas tree of the woods.
I love that. When is your birthday?
January 3rd.
Okay. Wow. Well, can I ask you a few silly questions?
Sure.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Speaking of birthdays, what is your zodiac sign?
I am a Capricorn. Year of the rabbit.
Yes. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip. Always
Coffee
been my favorite.
or tea?
I'm sorry?
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
That's the right answer.
He is very good for the singing, but I love a good coffee.
Yeah. Cake or pie?
Pie.
And since it's Thanksgiving week, what are your favorite pies?
Well, we always have pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. That's actually helped my mom make some a few minutes ago. That was joyful. But I love we make apple pie too at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
I love a good apple pie. We have apple trees in our yard. We have an acre.
Wow.
Just go out, pick some of the apples and carve them up.
What kind of apples?
Green knobbly ones.
Okay.
I think those trees, were planted in the 20s before the house was even bought, and
wow.
They're kind of funny looking, but they just fall right off the tree, and they've always been there.
And they make a great pie.
They do. Yes.
Yum. Beach or mountains?
Mountains. Kind of a woodsy girl, being from Oregon.
Right.
And I'm very fair-skinned and bugs love me. So sometimes a day at the beach ends up a rough one. I love the beach. I love the ocean. I love water. But I'm definitely a mountain girl.
I got it. That's totally cool. Do you sing in the mountains when you go?
Sometimes it's fun to kind of hear yourself echoing through the forest.
Right. Very Sound of Music.
Yes.
What is the first opera you ever saw?
I have been thinking about that. The very first show that I ever saw was The Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I believe the first opera I saw was Madame Butterfly.
Oh, nice.
But I remember Phantom specifically because I was 4 or 5 years old, and then we got the cassette tape of, the highlights. And my mom taught me how to run that, and I just memorized every song, and I loved it. And when she left, with Raul, I would have stayed there.
Yeah.
With the Phantom. Why are you leaving?
Yeah.
But I think those were my first two delves into the world of.
Oh, I love that. That's so funny because last week on this show, I had Raquel, who is Carlotta in Phantom, on. And
Dream Roll. I would love to sing that. Oh my goodness.
You could also sing Christine, so you could.
I would love to, and I was a dancer. I keep hoping one day hire me.
I would love that. I would love that. Okay, here's a toughie. You can spend a weekend away philosophizing and having wonderful meals with any 3 people who have ever lived.
Who have ever lived in the history of time? Oh,
Anyone.
dear. Well, Princess Diana.
Yes, great answer.
One of them. It's
Yeah.
always been a hero of mine. Oh my goodness. I have so many people running through my head now.
You could add some more. You could have a wait
Yes,
list.
no, I need 3. You said 3 people. I can do 3. Oh my goodness. Maybe William Shakespeare.
Yeah, sure.
Just
That's
to,
cute. Yeah.
hear him speak. Did you really speak as well as you wrote? And where does that even come from? I always wonder if people actually talked that way.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah, 2 Brits.
And 2 Brits. Yes, now I need an American.
But you're the American. You can have anyone.
Well, that's true. Maybe this is so silly, but maybe I am named after my great grandfather on my mother's side. His name was Holly, but it was Hollie. And I always hear wonderful stories about him, and I just really wish I'd met him.
Oh yeah, that's a wonderful answer. Oh, so Princess Diana, William Shakespeare, and your great grandfather Holly.
Yes.
Sounds like a great time.
I'm sorry. Suddenly everything just went out of my.
No. Oh,
So many people I'd love to meet.
of course. Who is your favorite opera singer of all time?
All time. Well, I'm very partial to Roberta Peters.
Yeah, amazing.
And, fantastic coloratura.
Yeah.
Probably Natalie Dessay as well. I
Mm.
try to emulate her as often as possible. Those are probably my 2 very favorites.
Those are great answers. My favorite is the recently passed Edita Gruberova, which was
Yeah, well, her as well. Her Zerbinetta is I
Yeah.
have that aria saved so I can
Yeah.
learn all of her nuances. I couldn't believe she died so
Yeah.
young and of, kind of not something that didn't seem necessary to die of. It's such a shame.
Yeah, so young, and also though interesting because she just had retired, and
Yes.
what an illustrious and long career, and it basically means she sang her whole life, which is kind of beautiful. But yeah.
I hope to have a quarter of the opportunities that she had. It was fantastic.
For me, it's her Constanza in Abduction that I just adore. It's just amazing. What a queen,
Yes,
truly.
she was a queen.
Yeah. Okay, 2 more questions, and these are toughies. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. You can go back to any time in your life and tell your younger self in that moment one thing. What is it?
It sounds cliche, but don't give up.
That's good.
We have a lot of rejection in our industry, but we get a lot of rejection from ourselves also internally. And, the voice is so subjective, even though there's schools and teachers, you really kind of just learn your own way and what works for you. And
Right.
even then there's a pandemic happening, and
Yeah.
just, I don't know, don't give up.
From what I see, you've never given up, and you're one of those singers who truly loves to sing, and it's your great passion. And I love that you wear that on your sleeve. It's really beautiful.
Well, thank you. I do. My mother always tells me that I can't lie because I reveal everything with my face. So I think that hopefully that comes through on the stage, but it definitely makes me happier to sing than anything else.
Yeah,
So,
I see that, and it's awesome. All right, final question. What is the meaning of life?
I would say love, but not, people always think love like loving someone else, but just loving what you do, loving yourself, loving what surrounds you, loving the sunrise, loving the food on the table, just, love makes yourself happy.
Yeah.
So love and happiness, maybe.
Yeah, no, love is it for sure. I agree completely. Well, I've loved talking with you, and thank you for coming on, and thank you for joining me this Christmas for a fun musical celebration, and thank you for sharing your high notes with us and your extraordinary heart.
Oh, thank Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you so much for having me. This has been such a delight to do.
It's great to see your face. I'm glad we matched with our sparkles for the holidays.
I am too. Yes. Overdressed for all occasions.
Absolutely. All right, Holly. Talk to you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much.
That's all for today's episode. Puppies and rainbows till we meet again.